Welcome to Parev TV. We are joined by Anais Tekerian and Teni Apelian, and maybe Yeraz Markarian will join us. First of all, let me thank you. We all know you, we love you, we respect you. You have given so much to the community. Your voice has been very clear, like the word Zulal means clarity. You have cleared our hearts, our minds, our souls, and no matter what I say, I think we know who you are. And what I thought, maybe we will have a candid conversation, because when you sing, people listen. When you talk, also people would listen. You are also mothers and artists. You raise kids. You have husbands. You have a house. So we are in this crisis together. And I thought of coming from artists, coming from talented Armenian artists, a message of how you are coping, what maybe you can say to help us out, may be beneficial to us, to me, and the community. Let me start with you, Anais. You know, we're already 1 month isolated. We keep hearing social distancing. We keep hearing all the messages we get each and every day from the president. We all know about these. But how are you coping with this crisis?
As best I can. It's the reality of having, children at home all the time is one that needs to be dealt with. My younger one is young enough that I have to homeschool her. So basically, for me personally, the way I deal with it is actually not having to try too hard, but actually enjoying the extra time that I'm getting with my girls, and answering their questions and listening to them endlessly talk about their books these days, because they don't have much to tell me about school anymore. And for me, I wake up really early in the morning to get an hour or two of peace so I can write in peace. And then throughout the day, I try to catch a few minutes here of practice whenever I can, and just try to. I mean, we go out a couple of times a day just for short walks with our homemade masks, but just it's all about right now, because we're so uncertain in terms of what's going to happen, how long this is going to last. It's really just about trying to accept the present and live in the present, and do what we can to keep ourselves together, keep the pieces of our lives and careers together.
You know, not too much discussion has taken place, at least I have not heard, what questions kids have and what questions parents can answer or not answer. What were some of the questions your kids had which you could not answer? What are some of the questions they had, period?
Me or Teni?
Yes, Anais.
Oh. My younger one, who's 7, has for a long time been obsessed with the idea of good and evil. And she hears us being very upset about the way things are dealt with. And so she needs to know, who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. The older one has a lot of questions about what's happening, but there's so many questions that we can't answer in terms of how long this will go on, what exactly will happen, when will they go back to school. And I've found that sort of keeping the answers vague often is better than trying to answer, just because with the vagueness there's still a little bit of hope to hold on to, and with clear answers there's a disappointment either way. So the older one, we find ourselves protecting them quite a bit from the reality of things, because I don't think it's necessarily beneficial for either of them, the teenager or the young one, to hear too much about how tragic things are. They know, the older one knows, but we don't dwell on it. And we just talk about putting out positive energy and doing the best we can right now.
Teni, you have 3 kids. You also are a mother. You're also an artist. I guess your free time will be early in the morning or very late night when they are in bed, tucked away. How different is your story? I guess it is very similar to what Anais told us. How are you coping?
It's very similar. I find that the charge for all of us who essentially are doing our part by staying home is to play that very delicate balance of shutting out enough of the outside world in order to do what we are charged to do with our children successfully. So if I leave CNN headlines on all day long and I'm constantly checking in with the trauma that is, unfolding on a minute-to-minute basis, I will be very ineffective in terms of, keeping the day rolling and making sure that everyone's hitting the learning targets that they need to learn within the day. And I'm not effective as a positive, force in the house. So I think this is true for so many people who are doing their part by staying at home. Is it to find balance of how, keeping yourself informed, of course, and also shutting out enough of what's, really going on. Because if you are too tuned in, you really risk being overwhelmed by it and just not being able to stay at home successfully.
On social media, we observe much more performances by professionals and non-professionals. Everybody's getting there with their musical instrument, acting, playing the music. Yesterday, I saw a group of over 20 Armenians on Zoom performing together, singing, and so exciting. What is this creativity from, and what is the importance of this venting this talent, this ability to connect with people via music? What is this power that lies within each one of us, Anais? Why are we doing these things?
Well, I think that, we all have that something inside of us that needs to come no matter what. So,
but it's coming out now.
Yeah, well, it's always coming out with musicians, always. But now, when you're a musician, normally you have the opportunity to practice for your beautiful concert at St. John the Divine, which just got canceled. So instead of that, you're finding other ways to create at home and continue on. So it's that energy that we all have, and for artists it comes out in art, and you find your ways, just like in art in general. Sometimes the best art comes out through working through an obstacle. So for example, if you've got an idea for writing and you give yourself a little thing that you have to include in the writing, or in music, you have to do a composition that has this particular form, creating around that obstacle actually can spur even more creativity and more originality. So right now, there's a major obstacle, which is that we're stuck at home and we have to find a way to give out a message that is meaningful, and we have to find a way to get out the energy from ourselves in a way that will help us continue to be creative and survive. And so we work through the obstacle.
Teni, can hard times create or inspire music?
Most certainly. I think, I've noticed it in myself that if we allow ourselves to be guided by what's external right now, whether it be learn this, online immersion and I don't know what, and it's very easy to spend an entire day clicking on links and watching things, but it feels so good to tap into your own self, find something that brings you joy and work on that. That's what feels truly therapeutic right now. I'm speaking for my own self, but I think just seeing what people are putting out there, it's the same for many. It feels good to honor what you love and what echoes in your heart in a positive way right now, and sometimes shut out some of the noise that we're all inundated with.
Anais, do you believe that music can heal wounds, whereas medicine cannot do what music can do to heal wounds? There is musical therapy, I understand.
It's true. It's true. I always I carry this with me. I've got a really good friend in France, in Paris, who's an oncologist, and she works in a public hospital, and she works with often the destitute, and she works with the hardest cases. And so every week she is dealing with people dying every day. And I asked her once, how do you deal with this? Like, how do you survive this work? And she said, oh, well, every day I either go to a concert or a gallery or the theater, and I read a lot. I survive through art, emotionally and yeah, psychologically. And so that I've carried as a little gift that she gave me, because when you're an artist, you can't really do, like, you have to create. That's what you're meant to do. But you always worry that, are you really doing as much good as you would like to be doing through your art? And to hear someone say very clearly, this is what permits me to survive and do my work, is something that has sustained me.
Teni, I guess also the Armenians who have gone through a lot after the genocide, I think also songs have helped us go through the difficult times. It helps us move forward. We have brought not too much. We had nothing when we came here as immigrants except our memories and our culture, segments of our culture, especially songs. And I know many people sit down and sing the gurung, and they get transformed and go into another world. But songs have a very major role to play in our lives. What can you add?
Most certainly, and there's something about melody that supersedes language. There's something about the deliverance of a feeling in song that is so much more direct than just language on its own. And it has sustained us. It's actually been how we have transmitted the bulk of our spiritual culture. Whether it be liturgical, but especially in the folk music, these were songs that were passed down from region to region, without being notated. And it very much carried the story of who we were as a living, breathing people, the daily struggles, the love stories, the work songs, the jokes, the drinking songs. It's all there, and it was passed on without texts and video archives and discs. And it's something that I think we now, all of us, need to tap into, to remind ourselves that, we have gone through quite a bit of trauma, and that's in a way inescapable, but we are survivors and we all will survive this.
Anais and Teni, it's such a pleasure to talk to you. There's so much information you have. There's so much passion you have from your creative art, your music. Anything in closing as a message to the many people who love and respect you? Zulal Trio has done its share. I said it in my opening remarks. What is your message to many people who may hear you? You're not going to sing. We'll be sharing a video of your singing. We've heard a lot of your singing, but what is your message to calm us down, to make this day at least easier to handle? Anais.
Just keep hoping and keep finding the beauty wherever you see it, even if it's just in that morning smile of your disheveled kid who comes to you with her hair like this and says, you know, I can't wait to read what you're writing. I can't wait to hear your new song. Or whether it's in the beautiful art of other people whom you can still see thanks to the internet. Just keep finding beauty, and through beauty, hope, and we'll get through this. And my biggest hope is that we find our way into a better world after this. That's what I'm wishing for.
Teni, in closing, what are your words of consolation or words of smoothing our hearts?
I would say, I mean, we are on the brink of Easter and a huge holiday of renewal. I think, you know, the driving idea behind that is one of faith and hope and kindness to each other. I think this is a time that we all need to be a little extra kind to ourselves. I think, you know, I know daily I have to tell myself that whatever comes in highs and lows and moments of extreme motivation and moments of despair, we are going to be feeling the gamut of it. And I think this is the time to be extra kind to yourselves and really hold on to whatever gives you hope and whatever gives you joy. Connect with your friends, reach out, and hold on, like as Anais said, dearly to all the things that lift you and bring light into your life. And at the same time, it's okay when you don't feel that. I think we all just need to be a bit forgiving with ourselves in the next coming weeks.
Anais, Teni, you call each other Janigs. I also have to call you Janigs. And thank you very much for this beautiful opportunity to talk to me and also to reach the community. We love and respect you. We appreciate the music, the art you share with us. Very beautiful, very unique, as you know, and all the best in the future. I think there were some concerts that were canceled. I think, Anais, you mentioned St. John Divine. I don't know if, am I right? Am I right?
Yeah, we had 2 concerts curated by Sato Moralian, who has just
yes.
a horrible illness, and she's okay now, thank goodness. Yeah, we were supposed to be at St. John the Divine in Michigan.
I hope we all come back stronger and healthier and happier and more successful. Thank you very much. Enjoy the day with the kids and the family.
We send our love to everyone.